Okay, I guess we're live. Usually there's a countdown, but there wasn't this time. So welcome everybody to the Summer Blockbuster Review Series. This is the review for Mad Max Fury Road. As always, I have my gracious host with us today, Richard Optimus Brown. How are you doing, sir?
Doing well, sir. How about you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. So always, Richard, go ahead and kick us off with your thoughts on the movie.
You know what, man? I'm gonna be honest with you. I wasn't expecting very much from this movie, but I have to say I walked out impressed. The thing about it is for a movie that is basically a hour and a half car chase, it's pretty solid. That's one of the things about it that I was really um, how can I put it? Emotion carried out through the movie through the actions of the characters and also carried out through the stakes of the chase. Like it just kept escalating throughout the whole movie. So I'll be honest, man. Uh, like I can see, like I mean, I haven't really read a whole bunch of critic reviews, but I kind of like checked the Metascore, the Metacritic score for this movie, and I'm be honest, man, I was pretty impressed that it was hitting at like 90 something percent, and I was like, how is that possible? But I could totally see it. The movie's basically, like I said, it's basically an hour and a half car chase, but to be frank with you, man, um, it's really solid. Really good movie. Had a lot of action. Wasn't very much talking throughout the
Yeah.
course of the movie. And that was the interesting thing about it. Was like a lot of it. There's not like if this is a movie that it the best way I can describe it is this is a it's like a summer popcorn movie, but it's got feeling behind it because you literally can just watch the movie and just watch stuff blow up, and that's kind of what it is. You don't get a whole lot of character development. You don't get a whole lot of like plot twists and anything like that. But overall, the movie does what it needs to do, and I enjoyed it. Just to be frank with you.
Yeah, we're in the same boat this time with two paddles, man. I went in this movie. I was looking to actually bash this movie because basically I thought it was going to be a reboot of the Mad Max series, and I was thinking,
Right.
okay, wow, another reboot movie. Let's see how they mess this one up. But like you said, it's pretty much an hour and a half car chase to the movie. Not that much character development, but you're entertained throughout the whole entire film. The cinematography was outstanding in this movie. Some of the shots that you get, it's kind of hard to say that you really feel emotion from a camera shot because it's a moving picture versus a still, but you do
Right.
feel a lot of emotion because there is not a lot of dialogue or character development in this movie. He tells it through the camera lens himself, so I was impressed with that. The movie itself, like you said, had great reviews, and I went in it looking to just trash this movie, and I was completely shocked at this movie that both the critics
Oh,
who write reviews.
I joined my computer and it carried it over. Hold on a second.
Okay, cool. I'll keep talking. Uh, both the critics who actually write reviews gave it a good review, and both the users who went to go see the movie wrote good reviews for this movie. So I was thinking, wow, is this movie really that good of a movie? And then I went to see it, and I was thinking it kind of weirded me out, but at the same time entertained. And it was a good joyride. You know, you get your popcorn, you sit down, and have a good time watching this movie. It functionally worked very well. It reminds me of John Wick, how John Wick was just
Right.
basically a hour and a half revenge plot movie. That's what this movie was. It was an hour and a half car chase movie. So let's just go ahead and roll into the whole spoiler part of this movie. And I kind of want to start this one off because how I mentioned that it was going to be like a reboot of the Mad Max. It's not. You really don't need to have watched any of the other previous Mad Max movies. If you want to, you can watch them so you know who Mad Max is. But he wraps it up basically in the opening sequence, explaining that
Right.
yeah, he was a cop. He lost his family. He patrolled the vast wasteland. The oil crisis hit the globe, and everything went to the crapper. And now he's out in this wasteland driving around. That's basically what the previous movies are about. I hate to break it to you, but he summed it up in about 5 minutes,
Right.
and then he breaks it on to the movie. I thought it was very interesting how at the Sentinel, how it had all the deformed people and everything, going with the true Mad Max movies. Now, you might have to watch the other movies to get that part. That all the previous Mad Max, there was always a little dwarf guy, a big, grotesquely huge guy, the people with the boils and stuff. Just that weird stuff that makes you like turn your head almost. What I was really afraid of that this movie was going to do, but it didn't, was be very, very gory. Because
I'd agree.
The originals came out in like the 70s and 80s, and gore wasn't a big, huge thing to throw into cinema back in those days. But nowadays, like the more gore, the better. And especially coming from a guy who does a whole bunch of horror films, I thought this movie was just going to be gross the entire time. But then I was just shocked again by the cinematography. But so it's not gore. If you're one of those people that are like, oh, I don't want to see it because it's going to be a lot of throat cutting or body dismemberment. It actually really isn't. Excuse me. There really isn't that much gore in this movie. People do die, but it's done in a tasteful way. It's nothing that's going to make you turn. Actually, I kind of turned a couple of times.
Yeah, there were one or two shots where I was like, I was. They cut to it. It's like they did really, really good. George Miller did a really good job with camera cutting because you get the point, but he doesn't have to show you the point in order for you to get it. There were a couple of moments where I thought they were going to show it and they didn't, and then it just cuts away. But you get the idea as soon as it happens. You're like, ooh, that's a little much.
Yeah, and it's kind of sad, you know, they're on the ferry road, and then when they get to their destination, they realize that they passed their destination. It really wasn't there. How he showed the emotion with the character, like all she wanted to do was just get to the green place, and then all of a sudden the green place isn't there anymore. You're just like, wow. And, you know, at that moment, I thought it was going to be some type of emotional monologue, and the movie is going to hit its low point, and that we've already gone through the climax of the movie, but it just picks right back up, and they keep going with this movie. I was like, this is pretty good. And like the person I went with, she was like, you know what? I thought I was going to take a nap during this movie, but I was entertained. I enjoyed it. And I was like, you know what? I was too.
The only I guess for me, the only dead space I really experienced in the movie personally was the beginning of it, and but I think it was more of from a standpoint of intrigue, because you know you're watching it, you're like, okay, I don't really understand where this movie's going, and then once it kind of starts and they kind of have a little bit of exposition, explain kind of what's happening, and then it takes off, and then pretty much you're always in motion the entire way through. So that it was, I'm really surprised. Just to be honest with you.
Another thing about this movie is that I thought this movie was going to be pretty much like Lucy, all of the good stuff they showed you in the trailer, and the rest is just going to be boring filler. To be honest with y'all, watching this podcast right now, the trailer covers probably the first 15 minutes of the movie.
That's exactly right.
Everything else is new stuff that you didn't see in any trailer that they put out there, which again is a huge shocker. Because usually they try to put like a little snippet of every single action sequence into the trailer so you can get there and watch it. And like you said, they're not delivering any monologues that any young aspiring actors are going to learn to put on tape so they can get into Juilliard. It's like if you're trying to get into directing and how to use your camera to get certain dramatic shots, like when Mad Max head was in the sand, and I'm like, yo, why are they just showing me a picture of a rock? And then all of a sudden the rock starts to move. I'm like, oh snap, that's Mad Max right there. He's in the sand. He's getting up. Yeah, so they do a good point. Like I said, a little weird about the movie. Like I don't understand the whole point. Why they were spray painting their mouth silver before they go die?
I think that was just like a ritualistic thing. It was, you know, it was one of those. It's like they do it, and you kind of have to just so that's like their last salute to themselves before they go. You know, that's how I took it, because it happened more than once. So it kind of established a point. So it was a fair bit of world building that went on in that movie. One of the other things about that movie I really liked was the villain always seemed menacing, even though he really didn't do anything. Because for the most part, he was. It's kind of funny because Tom Hardy plays Mad Max, and you have a villain that basically is Bane, in a sense because he's completely masked, has a breathing issue, and all that. But you know, he reminds me of Sweet Tooth, which is it's like you look at this character and
From
then
Twisted Metal. Yeah.
and it's like as you look at the movie, it's like it works perfectly. Like it looks like he's a clown, but it's every like all the like the villains it's not like they really did anything. I mean, they of course they had their moments, but for the most part, they really didn't do very much. It was all the the senseless henchmen that did all the work. But the villains is like they had a motivation to try to get to this other person to be able to get to what they were trying to achieve. And
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, go ahead. No.
Yeah, speaking of the villains, I like how they didn't take a point in this movie to stop and explain the villains coming from the gas town and the villains coming from the place where they were sending the milk. I just like that. Yeah, here you go. Here are the villains. If you care to know about them, read or watch the other movies.
Right.
I really do like that because my biggest fear for any superhero movie that's coming up is that they're going to spend half an hour to 45 minutes of my time trying to explain why he got his superpowers and everything. Like, we get it, we know, just bring on the action. So, Richard, let's go ahead and let's roll into our scores for this movie and just remind everybody that last time it was Charles, Maverick, Smith, and Richard, myself. We gave the Avengers 2 an A, and now we're doing Mad Max.
No, I gave it a B.
You gave it a B. Yeah, you gave it a B. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, let's go ahead and let's roll into our rankings. Richard?
All right. I'm going to be honest with you. It's not from a standpoint of direction and pacing. This movie does a very good job. The actors that were chosen in this movie, none of them really had. There wasn't like any one-liners. There wasn't like this extreme monologue. It was really about acting that actually got the performance. Practical effects, and everybody always talks about the use of CGI and why it's evil and this, that, and the other. But I'll have to admit, knowing that they actually flipped a whole bunch of cars over in the course of this movie actually does kind of add to the wow factor of watching it. To be honest, man, I'm going to honestly have to say I give this movie an A. I give this movie an A. I'm sure that if the opportunity presents itself, because I only buy steelbooks now, it's kind of my thing. But if they do a steelbook release this movie, I'd actually say I'd go out and buy it. Like it's definitely worth buying, definitely worth picking up. And since it's in theaters, definitely go see it. If you have an option to see it in one of the more enhanced screenings like IMAX or RPX, I would say go. And the reason why I would say even 3D, I would go because there are a few shots. I saw it in 2D, but there were a few shots in the movie that actually play to the 3D element. And you know how like 3D now is that distant stuff where it was like stuff being thrown at you, and you can tell that that's what they were trying to accomplish. So I'd have to say, man, it's definitely worth seeing in theaters, and I give it an A.
So yeah, I did see it in one of the premium formats, and there are a couple shots in there. It's more the depth of field type stuff. But there are a couple of shots in there when they went through the canyon the second time and the steering wheel came flying out.
Yeah,
that's the one that stands out in my mind the most. Was like, wow, that's really close right there.
Yeah,
you realize, oh, I'm sitting so many feet back from the screen, and when they're throwing the spears, you're like, okay, hold up, Yeah, so it is worth. It's the majority of the movie is depth of field, but there are a few elements that make you stick out. My ranking for this one, I'm sorry for that pause there. My ranking from this one is a B. I did enjoy it.
Okay.
And I mentioned earlier there's not that much dialogue into the movie. I felt as though that your Tom Harding, your Charlize Theron, they didn't give you pretty much but maybe 15 words combined between them. So that's why I don't give it an A. It's not because I don't think it's not an A-worthy movie. I just don't think that there's not enough acting per se. Let's just go straight, do a couple action sequences, and go in the movie. But I enjoyed it. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I recommend, please go see this movie in theaters. If you don't go see it in one of the premium formats, go to the best theater in your local area that has the best sound system, because the movie does sound phenomenal when it's presented correctly. As far as purchasing this movie, I didn't think about would I buy this movie standalone, but if they offered a box set, I might pick it up because it is a fun ride to watch, and I will be waiting for it to come out on Netflix and HBO to watch again. But as far as purchasing, I kind of want it in a box set. I don't think I would buy it as a standalone.
Yeah, you're right about that, because the only good thing about it is this one's kind of so far detached from the other movies where it seems like it's okay to do that. Whereas if like Fast and Furious 6, I really, really like that movie, but because it's the only one that I like and it's got a 6 in it, it's like, nah, I can't buy this. I can't buy it. You know, so I mean, because then you got to buy like all of them, you know, and that includes Tokyo Drift. So no, good.
Yeah, you know that kind of, because I personally I like the first one, the fifth, and the sixth of the Fast and Furious series, and then when you look at it, you're just like, man, something about a sequence. I have to get the sequence. Yeah. And Tokyo Drift was the last one that I eventually picked up because I was just like, yeah. But I did refuse to buy the fourth Indiana Jones.
Oh yeah, you know what? That's different. See, but it's the last movie, so it's okay. You can do that. You can just, you know, you could take that movie and shove it. So that's fine. I could. Yeah. I
spent more money buying those individually.
Yeah, I mean they got. Yeah, that's. I would say that's probably something I'm gonna wind up doing myself. I'll just buy the first 3 and I'll just forget that the fourth one even happened.
The fourth one doesn't exist. So with that, let's go ahead and segue into the upcoming movies. We have Tomorrowland due out next Friday. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. After seeing that preview in the Avengers movie, I'm kind of interested in this movie. Wasn't until I saw that preview, but I kind of am interested in watching Tomorrowland.
Yeah. I just don't know what it's about, and I'm not saying I'm worried. It's just I don't know what it's about. Like, because all you know is that people are running away, and like you get teleported to a different dimension, and that's pretty much about the gist of it. And they're robot people that are evil or chasing after, you know, our hero. So that's really the only thing I grabbed from it. I don't see anything else from it. So I will say this. I hope it's on the level of like how Pirates was, because I did like the first Pirates movie. Second and third one, they kind of declined, and they're continuing to decline because I don't know why they're doing a fifth movie, but I guess it keeps making money, so whatever. But this movie, I'm interested to see how it is. So I wonder if Disney's gonna like, you know, do, you know, they got Tomorrowland, you know, this time. I wonder if they're gonna do Thunder Mountain at some point. You know, like, are they just gonna go, you know, like It's a Small World or eventually be like some children's story book or something? I'm wondering like if they're just gonna take all their ride properties and do something with it, which would be kind of cool. But you know, I'm interested in this one. I'm interested in seeing that one. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. When does Jurassic Park come out though?
Jurassic Park is, let me look it up because I want to say it's June 24th or 14th. Not 100% sure, but the beauty of the internet, I swear to you, what would we do now if it wasn't for the internet? Yeah, I'm 100% to go see Jurassic World. Oh, I just need a release date, people. Here we go.
I know I said Jurassic Park, but no, it should be Jurassic World. Oh, excuse me.
June 12th.
Okay. Oh, that's gonna be. Yeah. I'm gonna be getting. Got a pretty big trip coming up, so I'm gonna be heading out of town. So that's gonna be a tough weekend. How that whole thing's gonna play out.
You know, we can always push the show back. The show back.
I'm trying to, dude. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm trying to think of what else is left. I mean, you got Ant-Man, which I'm like, because it's a Marvel movie. It's like, yeah, I need to see it, but I don't have to.
Yeah.
You know, but we kind of said that about Guardians, and Guardians turned out to be pretty good. So I mean, we could see.
The schedule is looking kind of bleak. There's Tomorrow World, Jurassic World, Pixel that you talking to.
Yeah, that's I forgot about that. Yeah.
And
hey, did you?
Spectre.
Spectre, yeah. Did you see the
Spectre.
trailer? Do you see the trailer for the National Lampoon's movie?
Vacation, yes.
Yeah.
See, we usually don't do comedies, but
Yeah, you know what, man?
I am going to go see that
I'm
one
interested. You see, because I
just
like
off
those.
of G.
I like those movies, and that's the only thing about it. I'm worried because see, those movies they were funny. 80s humor is.
Got that, sir?
Say what now? What did you say? Say it again now.
Repeat that. You broke up there.
Oh yeah, yeah. Now I say 80s humor is it's like that kind of humor. It's funny, but it's not like gross. And I'm kind of worried that this movie is going to take it too far because you know how like modern comedies and stuff like that, it's like it's a lot of crude humor and those kind of jokes, especially with the dude from Hangover being in. I'm like, okay, I'm wondering how this is gonna go. Uh, if it keeps to the spirit of the original movie, I don't want it to be a repeat of the original movie, but if it keeps to the spirit of it, I think I can get down with it. So I don't know. That's not going to be a midnight release for me, but I think I am going to go check it out because I want to give that a chance. I really do, because I actually really enjoy it. Like Christmas Vacation is my favorite one out of those movies. I didn't watch any of the other ones, any of the other vacation movies.
Oh,
I didn't see any of the other
I
ones.
mean,
Christmas,
Vegas. Yeah, Vegas is going to be my favorite just because I saw that
really?
one first. Yeah, and then my dad showed me the other ones. But I've probably seen Christmas Vacation the most.
Oh yeah, I think everybody's seen Christmas Vacation because it's like the ultimate family story of like when Christmas goes wrong. I mean,
Yeah,
but it's with heart, and I kind of that's what I hope that movie captures is it captures that kind of like okay, father trying to do the best that he can with his family, and everything Murphy's Law just breaks completely through it. So that's what I'm hoping this movie kind of does. I don't know. I'm trying to think of anything else I saw that was like actually interesting.
the only thing that interests me was an independent film with Arnold Schwarzenegger called Aki. I don't know if that one got
is that the
shown in
one?
your theater.
Is that the one with the zombie stuff?
We're like, yeah,
Okay, yeah, I've seen that trailer, and it does look pretty solid. I'm interested in seeing that one too, but it's probably not going to be something that's going to be a wide release. Uh,
see, yeah, that's what I'm fearing because it's already out here in Atlanta,
oh
but it's
really?
in it's not. Yeah, it's not your like AMC's or Regal theaters. It's in all those independently owned ones
I'm
that you
gonna
have
have
to
to check.
go to. So that's
I might
what
have to go to the
that's what
Nickelodeon then. Yeah, that's what I have to do. I have to just go to the Nick and see it. Because I do want to see. Actually,
Nickelodeon.
I'm not into zombie movies, but that looks different from most other zombie movies I've seen. So I'm interested in seeing that one too.
Yeah,
There was one movie. What was it called? The Walt. I don't know.
yeah.
Yeah. Here's what was funny about that one though. It said Sony Pictures, and then it went up a side of a building. So I was like, wait, did they already like try to tease they're doing Spider-Man again? That's really what I thought until I saw Robert Zemeckis, and then I forgot who the kid was. But yeah, I was like, wait, did they already like select Spider-Man and they just put this out here under the table that nobody knew? That's what I thought initially. I said maybe I was lost on something, but that was yeah. But I mean, I don't know what that's about. But Robert Zemeckis doesn't do anything that's terribly bad. So I mean, he's done Back to the Future, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, um, Forrest Gump,
Yeah.
Castaway. So I mean, Flight.
So here's the sad thing is that know the story already. It's about the French guy that scales buildings and walks across the buildings on the type wire, and does all those death-defying tightrope stunts and everything.
Okay.
I just don't see how you put that into a 2-hour format.
All right, think about it now. You say that now, but think about it. What was John Wick about? A man who goes on a revenge spree.
I mean, I've been wrong. I mean, this will be the third time I've been wrong.
I'm just saying, man. You can make a good story out of anything, and I think that's the one thing that we really need to like. That not I say we, but I think the movie industry needs to understand is that I mean, building a franchise is great, but I mean, like two of the best movies I've probably seen in a while. John Wick is one, and that's a completely, virtually it's an original idea, and then Pacific Rim. I mean of course, it's it deals with giant monsters and robots, but I mean, still, it wasn't an established IP, so it's like you're not trying to. Everything doesn't have to be the sequel of something that came out. Oh, we gotta talk about this one for like 5 seconds though. Did you see the trailer for Jim?
Jim?
Yeah, Jim, like the '80s cartoon, the truly outrageous chick. Yeah, they're doing. I just gotta say something about it because here's the thing about that movie is that people can give Michael Bay his flack for Transformers and whatnot, but at least he captured the essence in a sense of what the movie's about. Is not, at least there were transforming robots and stuff, interjected into the movies, and not everybody might like it, but at least you can give them that. Jim, I don't know what they were thinking because if you watch the theme song of the show and then you watch that trailer, it's almost like it completely disregards the franchise entirely. I don't know what Hasbro's thinking on that one, but good luck to them. I mean, it's not like something I'm like dying to see or anything like that, but I'm just yeah, when I saw that trailer, I was like, whoa, yeah, you just completely just shard on that franchise entirely. Yeah, go check out the trailer for that movie because it's literally like bland teenage girl who becomes a pop sensation. Done. That's pretty much what it is. It's nothing spectacular about it at all.
Yes, some of the holograms. Yeah,
Yeah.
it really is. Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
Okay, so
yeah. They really did that, and they really unless if Hasbro or whoever's making that movie, unless if they're holding something back that's related to the original franchise, sure. But as it looks right now, oh man, it's terrible.
okay, so it's just like Battleship. All right.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I don't know what it is, but I really would like Hasbro, like their properties, like Transformers, Battleship. I know Transformers is trying to create their own cinematic universe, which I think is a good idea, but I think they should have been done initially instead of waiting until like you're 4 movies deep and then you're like, oh well, Marvel made a whole bunch of money doing this, let's do it too. But yeah, I'm glad to see Transformers doing it. I just hope like the rest of their properties, if they're deciding to do something like that, go ahead and kind of take the bull by the horns and actually give us something that is a little closer to centered on the franchise itself versus trying to, I guess, appeal to mass market. Because hey, I'll give Marvel their credit, even though the Avengers. I don't want to say it was like I said, to me, I thought the Avengers was a good movie, great time, whatever. But at the end of the day, what Marvel has done successfully that most other studios have done, trying to establish franchise, especially trying to bring old ones back into the fold, is that they really make sure that they stay focused on what the characters are and actually appeal to their fan base versus trying to completely alienate them in the process. So we'll see. I mean, we'll see, man. Got a whole bunch of stuff coming out. Like they're already talking about, not Winter Soldier, but Cap 3. I think Cap 3 is going to be basically Avengers 2. 2.5.
2.5.
Yeah, because I mean, you got Cap, Crossbones is at least he's the villain that you know of. The Winter Soldier is going to be in there somewhere. Falcon, Black Panther is going to be in there. Basically,
I thought War Machine was going to show up as well.
Oh yeah, pretty much the new Avenger team that you saw at the end of Age of Ultron is practically going to be in this movie, along with Iron Man. I don't know if Hulk's going to be in there at all, but somehow some of these other folks are going to have to come into the fold because it's not going to be like, the Avengers versus Iron Man. It's going to be like it's supposed to be two sides of that faction. So I'm interested to see how this is going to play out. And even if Spider-Man's going to show up, so if he shows up, so we'll see.
So everybody, stay tuned. 2015, the movie lineup is looking kind of slim compared to last year, but we do have Tomorrowland coming up next week. So until then, stay classy.